welcome to the Bionicle Commentary Central. Today, I will be your host, LQ1998. You see, well, we fired Chris.
Yeah, sure.
We did. You were there.
But don't worry, we still have a cast of well-established crew members.
No, we don't.
Joining me today is Leo Alexander.
Yay.
And Kepler
He's a bit
S.
unhappy we fired Chris, I guess.
And our newest cast member, Malurus 2000.
Hello, humans of the world.
He's not that new.
He hasn't been on a podcast before. He's been a member since the beginning, but not on the podcast.
Actually, he's been a member since, 2012? 2013?
Yeah.
Keplers, you cannot reveal our secret origin story.
This is ancient history.
I'm not revealing the secret origin story, just the fact that, never mind. Moving on.
Anyway, today we'll be discussing a topic that's been quite discussed in the Bionicle Media as of late. Fans have not been happy with how the Bionicle Media has been released and how the story has really been handled. I mean, not saying that they hate it, but there's few of us who don't think they could have done better. So we're going to discuss what we would have done if we were in charge of releasing this story info and marketing, and how we think we could have done a better job with it.
So this is a shoulda, woulda, coulda episode.
Yes, you should have been here when we talked about the topic. And then you would have known what we were doing, and it could have gone faster.
What do you... Nonsense, absurdist.
So, Malurus, would you like to start off?
Sure. I mean,
Your voice
if I were in charge of LEGO, well, marketing anyways, with the release of the Bionicle story, the newer storyline, I'd at least try and get a more constant release of stuff. Like in the original Bionicle, though, they had more constant every now and then. New online game was updated, there were comics every month or so. So just more constant flow of it, I guess.
Right now, the past few weeks, we have been getting a minute and a half of video content, but I'm pretty sure we all agree that's not enough.
Well,
No.
you have to think about it this way. In January 1st of 2001, all we had was a beach.
Yeah, but
In North America.
And how many endless hours of fun have we had on that beach?
So much fun just watching the same thing over and over again for a month. That sounds fascinating, LQ.
When was MNOG 2,
Simply riveting.
the second chapter of MNOG released?
Probably February.
Well, where are we now? We're in April.
No, we're in March. It's still March as of this recording.
Yo, remember, this recording's released in the future. We can't break the fourth wall.
I'll break it now.
Idiot.
I smash the fourth wall every day.
Yes, and that's why our viewership goes down every day.
Oh, that's terrible. That's a low blow of you, Kepler. That hit my appendix. I'm charging you. Get out of this ring.
So anyway, we all agree that there hasn't been a good constant flow of media, I think.
I'm not in agreement with that.
So, Leo, you think they've been handling it well?
No, I think they haven't taken into account this internet culture that well.
Here, how about you go next then? How would you have handled it?
I actually would have probably kept things the same, although since the internet wasn't that big of a deal in 2001, everyone expected it to be dead by around then anyhow. You didn't have anyone messing with URLs and searching Russian websites for story content and media info and all that. In fact, back in 2001, Europe actually had the sets already out.
Mm-hmm.
But North America, we just had Minogue, a beach. Then in February, I think we got Takoro. Then by now we'd have had Gakoro, if I remember correctly.
I believe so.
And I think the sets came out in June for us, along with the first comic.
They did? I thought the Bulwark came out in June.
The Borak came out in 2002.
They did?
LQ.
I'm
Yes.
so confused. The
Yeah.
2001 to 2003 timeline, I'm really confused about. because-
2001 was the Rahi.
2001
was
you
the
had
Borak. 2003
Rahi
was the
and Toa.
Cal and the Rakshi.
Okay.
Okay, so for LQ's sake, let me explain this release schedule. By May, I think you had about half of the island, half of Minogue was complete. You had and then in June you got the first comic, and you had the sets released. I think the sets released in June. I'm not sure. You got the entire wave we're familiar with. You got Toa, Turaga, and Rahi. Previously we had the Mictoran, but no one counts those little guys anyhow.
I count them.
I'm
In fact,
sure
they're some of my
I
most
angered
coveted
many
sets.
people with that statement. They're cool and all, but yeah.
Seeing this, I just want to throw this out there. It did take me 3 years to finish the M-Nog the first time.
You're a sad person, LQ.
I was like 8.
What do you mean 8? Well, albeit I was like 15 when I first played it, so.
Noob.
Anyway, so Keplers, how would you have handled this meteor?
I'm not finished with my point.
Okay, then get to the point.
My point is that we have about the exact same story material release as Bionicle had in 2001, except this time there are actually sets in North America, and you have sets to go along with your story. That's pretty much it.
Interesting. I'll get back to more of my views on that when
That
it's my
ties
turn.
in directly with my idea. See, the way 2001 was handled, I wasn't there, but from what I've heard, it sounds like they had some story build-up before they put the sets out.
The
Instead,
sets were out in Europe already.
Yeah, we were just late. You know how we
Yeah,
got,
but not-
was
not
it
in the
last
United
year or
States.
the year before the Hero Factory sets didn't come out until late spring in North America?
Yeah.
but for the United States, we had some story build-up a bit before the sets.
The United
Here.
States isn't the only place LEGO ships sets to.
Yes,
Are we
but
gonna have
I'm in
to
the
fire
United
you like
States,
we
you're in
fired
the United
Chris?
States, and I'm talking about the United States.
Throw them off, burn them at the stake.
Well, and then, with LEGO this year, we've had a lot of hype about the new sets. Yes, I understand we didn't have all of the Russian website scouring that we did before. But they announced the sets, had all the picture sets and everything officially released before we even had a shred of what the story was about. And now that the sets are out and it's all common knowledge, we've had nothing story related.
We've
I
had
would
the
put out
animations.
something story.
Those
You're
are story
joking,
related.
right?
Hey, I like the
Please.
animations.
I'd like them, if there are a bit more of them or at all
I
explain the
think they're
backstory
fine. They do their
at
job.
all.
Did the Borak animations go much into
What's their
backstory?
job?
Huh?
Boring me out of my
Well, the
skull?
Borak animations were quite a bit longer. In their defense.
What?
The Borak animations did, at least to me, they seemed quite a bit longer.
They were. And okay, well, one, I'd improve on the voice acting for Gali, because she doesn't sound like
I don't care
I
about
put
that,
the
really. It's supposed to be
story
one guy
high
telling
on
the
Gali.
story.
a more.
My courage is as deep as the
I'd put a more comprehensive story out before the sets were even released. Something to give them a reason to buy the sets, other than Bionicle's back, squee, it's Tahu again. Actually, explain to me what Tahu's doing.
on fire.
Shut up. That's literally all we know about Tahu.
He's the
Apparently,
master
he
of
doesn't know much
fire.
more himself. We've got the Amnesiac, who's like, what's my job again? I trust you with my life. What's my job? Oh, run out into that suicide mission and kill the spiders. That's your job. Gotcha. Not even. It's pathetic, the story.
What did you
There's no...
I wouldn't go that far.
No.
Pathetic.
It
Keplers,
is!
No, you're blasphemous.
Tahu, there's no concept of teamwork yet until they get to the city, because they're all basically on their own right now, which I get. The original Bionicle was like that too. but they met each other first.
What is this?
And then they went separately and protected the villages.
No,
and then they
you're
came
wrong.
together.
You're wrong.
No, I'm not wrong.
Yes, you are.
I'm
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Only Golly.
I'm going completely based on the comics and Manui Online.
I'm completely based also on the books, which also counts.
Leo, I hate to do this, but I have to point out that the 2001 storybooks are technically non-canon.
Parts of them are still canon. I'm referring to that.
Yeah, and so parts of Manui Online game.
Exactly. Parts. And you are missing out the part of the books that are still canon. The Toa went, except for Golly, went to their villages first before meeting up.
I know, and I just said that.
No, you didn't.
I said that they
No, you didn't.
they landed and they weren't teamed up immediately, but they did meet
Exactly.
each other and then went out and defended all the other villages.
Exactly. Just like they did now.
No, because they never met. They didn't meet until they went to the Lost City, and even
Exactly,
then they
that's
didn't
the
know
same
the other
thing.
existed.
It's the same thing.
No, because
They
they
just
met
took
each
longer
other for
doing
a
it.
brief moment before going off and defending the villages again.
It just took
Here
longer
they met each
doing
other
it.
for a brief moment and stayed as a team the entire way through.
What is this? I didn't
As
expect some kind of
fascinating as a
Spanish
debate as
Inquisition
this
coming
is,
into this.
I think we should move on.
No one expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Okay.
Basically, I want
Keep
the
up in his
story before they put the
surprise
set
and
down.
fear.
Okay.
And some less interruptions.
Now it's on to me, I guess, then. So, before I start, I want to say something. I can't judge totally about how LEGO's handling the story just yet, because I believe the main info we're getting is coming out in the summer. Whether that's a good move or not is yet to be determined, but we can't... What?
Yeah, I couldn't hear you cut out a bit.
Oh, well, I'm recording, so it's on the recording. You can listen to what I said.
I'm recording.
Okay, anyway. I can't really say that they're doing it. I'm not going to judge how LEGO's doing it just yet. I'm going to wait and see how it pans out throughout this entire year, and then say if they did a really good or really bad job in marketing these sets. However, based on what I'm expecting, what I think is the best, I would have done things differently. I would have still started the animations in January when the sets came out. But I would have opted for the first book coming out around now instead of in summer. I think that's way too long to get in-depth story info after we already have the sets.
Yeah.
It needs another piece of media to it somehow. I'd say non-internet users, I don't think they've done an appropriate job of showing the story to the people who don't have access to web animations and stuff, like old Bionicle had comics. And that's where most people got into Bionicle.
LQ.
Yeah.
Every kid has an iPad nowadays. Or at least knows someone who has an iPad.
Well, what if they're in
They have the
Canada
internet.
and they can't get internet because of all the snow?
What do you... No. No.
I just feel they need some form of non-digital media for Bionicle. Maybe it's just me going back to the past, but I think
it's just you going back to the past.
Seriously?
I mean, obviously we know from some concept, what we think they're concept, at least comics that got released, they were toying with the idea of releasing comics for a while.
Yeah.
I think they should have even if they just did these animations with the simple story that they were inside comics and stuff from the Lego magazine, I think that would have been a much better move.
Yeah, like Chima, for instance, they have tons of comics, but they have a TV show and
Comics?
all
Even
that.
comics don't count, please. The comics including the Lego magazine these days are nothing compared to what they were in 2009.
Yeah, but still. Just
No, those aren't comics. Don't fool anyone. They weren't at all what Bionicles were, or Exoforces.
Another thing is, I'm not expecting, like I said, for this Bionicle to follow the same strategy as old Bionicle. That's just unrealistic to expect.
Well, you were saying about comics, but I heard this from TTV, which is pretty legitimate.
Leo stealing more stuff from TTV.
Yes, but Lego is striking up a deal with some online company that does for ebooks and graphic novels.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That's because I was really upset. I was more focused on the part though they dropped the contract with Paper Cuts. That I was really disappointed about.
Yeah. Oh well.
I like Paper Cuts.
I still need to go.
I hate
graphic
Paper
novels.
Cuts. They
What do you
stink
mean
so
you hate
much.
Paper Cuts? They
Keplers,
really
this is Paper Cuts with a Z.
I know.
Anyway, back to my point. I think there's just everyone feels this general gap in media that there needs to be filled by some other source of media around this time, and the animations just aren't enough.
That's due to apathy.
The what?
Apathy.
Apathy.
Yeah, apathy.
Apathy sounds like a Native American tribe. It's apathy.
No, that's Apache.
I know, but that's what you make it sound like.
No, I make it sound like apathy.
Anyway. So, anyone else? Malurus, do you have any more views on these subjects to give your 2 cents on?
I don't have 2 cents on me, unfortunately.
Oh.
Basically, here's another thing. If you guys could choose one more piece of media to put in that looks like Lego's not going to, so not the books or the web series, what would you choose?
TV.
Graphic novels. There's nothing like a comic book.
I would actually choose, maybe this is just, again, me going back to the past, but an adventure game with an actual plot to it.
Well, yeah. Adventure
Yeah,
is
more
phenomenal.
realistically, TV done well, not done like Chima or Hero Factory.
Mm-hmm.
But I prefer an adventure game. Again, going back to the original Bionicle, it actually was better than the
Because, you know,
games
that's
out now.
the Monog is one of the reasons why I really, really like 2001. It just puts you into that world.
Mm.
The thing is, no one makes adventure games anymore.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason. I think the rest of the reason is Lego.com's budget seems to have been dropped drastically.
Yeah, it really does. We know that from the amount of typos on the website. Obviously, they can't afford proofreaders.
Wow.
So, I think that about does it for today then. Anyone
Wow,
else
that
have
was
any
short.
final thoughts? That's the idea. We're trying to cut these down to easily digestible portions.
But wow, that was short.
Final thought: Lego, spend some more money on your website. Despite what you think, there are actually less website traffic in '95 than now.
Lego. I love comics and cartoons. Make more of those.
Lego, just keep on doing Bionicle and start doing...
Start doing what?
Well, I was gonna say something more negative, but you told me not to, so...
No, I didn't say not to be negative at all. I said not to make everything you say negative.
We seem to have had a failure to communicate.
Anyway, for LQ, Malurus, Leo Alexander, and
You
Kepler
can't
S,
speak for me.
this is the Bionicle Comedy Central signing off.